Well, what a weekend. Slandered, libelled, attacked, threatened. Just another day at the office for anybody that's in this movement and is trying to do things to help save the country, no doubt. The last week has been a very, very strange week. I was made aware, I think on Monday of last week, of a group that were using the name UK Freedom Movement organising demonstrations in Hyde Park for this weekend that's just passed. Again, that the leaflets that were put out were very, very unprofessional. Looked like they'd been done on some cheap, nasty software. There was no contact details. There were no obvious names of people who were behind it, other than using the name of the UK Freedom Movement. So when I saw when these leaflets were sent to me again by a couple of friends, I just said, look, it's nothing to do with me. It doesn't look like it's going to achieve anything. It's such an unprofessional looking leaflet that I don't think anyone would get hold of that. How wrong was I? The mainstream media went on a feeding frenzy and deliberately, I believe, targeted myself and Jada Franson, and wrongly accused us of being behind the events at the weekend. And again, both myself and Jada can prove that we had nothing to do with these events. I was publishing videos. I think I did a video at the beginning of last week, once I saw one of these leaflets, just saying, this is nothing to do with me. It doesn't, it doesn't look like much is going to happen, but it's not the UK Freedom Movement. It was one of those ones where I wasn't going to do a full video on it because it was such a cack-handed attempt at organising a demonstration. But like I said on Thursday or Friday when I made a video, what a PR coup for the people that did it. Those tacky little leaflets managed to get the attention of not just the mainstream media, but a peer of the realm who accused Jada of being behind the demonstrations in the House of Lords and asked for the Home Secretary to take action. None of these people have done any due diligence and found out who is really behind the events. The only publication that came anywhere close to finding out who was behind the events is the Daily Mail, who dug up an old conspiratorial Facebook group or Facebook page that is purportedly behind it, that had absolutely nothing to do with the UK Freedom Movement that I run. They called themselves the UK Freedom Movement, but I think they'd had a page there since 2011. My group started in 2018, and again, we've got our own website, we've got our own Facebook page, and our own Facebook group. But of course, the mainstream media didn't bother to do the due diligence. They published my name and my photograph and Jada's name and her photograph in just about every single publication, local and national, throughout the country. Jada has had death threats. I have had scurrilous and slanderous posts put on social media about me. And again, from the point of view of death threats, in this movement, it's par for the course. I've had real terrorists try to kill me in the past. I've got security at my house, as most sensible veterans do have. So I'm not overly concerned about people threatening me for my own safety. But what I am concerned about is maybe some idiot drunk one night remembers the story and remembers Richard Inman's name and thinks, oh, I'm going to go and put a brick through his window. That's what I'm more concerned about. These death threats, especially for things like this, very, very rarely materialise. But again, it's alarming for people to be threatened and implicated in something that they have absolutely nothing to do with. And anybody posting scurrilous lies about me going forward, I will take legal action. If I find social media posts that are actually defaming me, and if I find newspaper posts that defame me, if somebody prints something about me that's true, that's absolutely fine. And like I said, some journalists did contact me, and they contacted Jada as well. And when a journalist contacts me, I will tell them the truth. I'll tell them if I'm behind something. I'll be completely honest. Because you can't hide things on the internet anyway. If you've done something, you'll get found out because the evidence will be there. Someone will have screenshotted it. Someone will have downloaded your video. If you're spreading fake news, you'll be found out. And that's one of the good things about social media. You can go back and find out what people have said and done. So in terms of Jada and myself, I ain't spoken to Jada since January. Myself and Jada did demos last year. We did Free Tommy demos together. She was very much involved in that with me. We did anti-EU demos under the guise of the UK freedom movement, and like I say, we did free Tommy demonstrations as well, and actually anti-abortion demonstrations. So we'd done some activism back end of last year. Beginning of this year, we just went our separate ways. She was doing her thing. I was doing my thing, and that was it. We hadn't been in contact. Jada phoned me on Saturday morning, believing that I was actually behind these demonstrations. When I explained to her exactly my take on it and what I thought was going on, she obviously realised it was nothing to do with me. I mean, the UK freedom movement isn't just me. There's several other people involved, and I can get them to state categorically that it was nothing to do with me. As I said, I produced content telling people it was nothing to do with me as early as Monday of last week, when I first became aware that people were using my name or my organisation's name to promote this event. So what's the point of this video? Well, first of all, Jada spoke to the press about me, thinking it was me, and she has since obviously retracted that publicly, which is great. She apologised to me personally, which to me shows such strength of character, because a lot of people out there that will not apologise when they make a mistake. If I make a mistake, again, I'm similar to Jada, I'll put my hands up and say, yeah, I screwed up. I got it wrong. And the same as with ownership. I mean, if I had organised these demonstrations, I would own it. And to be honest with you, getting that amount of publicity, I would 100% own it. If I believed in those demonstrations and I wanted to organise those demonstrations, I would not run away cowering and hiding. I would say, yeah, I did it. But I didn't. So, and neither did Jada. So I spoke to Jada at length on Saturday, and we spoke about a lot of issues. Obviously, there's been a lot of what should we say, bad blood in the movement, and people being forced to take sides and back this person or back that person. And Jada made a video last night, and in the video she called for unity, and I agree with her up to an extent on that. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. I cannot have unity with people who hold fundamentally different positions to me politically if I'm in a political movement. And I think my red lines, as they've always been in this, since I've started with this movement, which is, let's be honest, we all claim to want the best for the United Kingdom. Anybody that's involved in politics claims to be doing it for the best reasons. And I believe there are sincere people on every single side of this of the political spectrum in the UK. Now, some of them I will fundamentally disagree with, but they have a right to that opinion. They have a right to express that opinion, no matter how distasteful I find it. But my personal red lines in this movement, and you can check back anything I've said right the way from the beginning, so I'm not inconsistent in this. My personal red lines are racism and anti-Semitism. When it comes to people on the right, I will not share platforms with racists and anti-Semites. I've been very, very clear about that. That doesn't mean I hate these people. I will, if they want to talk to me, I'll talk to them and I'll put my point of view across to them. But I will not give them publicity on my platforms, and I will not share a stage with somebody that is holding opinions that I find are absolutely and completely abhorrent and always have. And that goes exactly the same with the far left. It goes exactly the same with the Islamists. I am not going to stand and share a platform with people that want to destroy my country and impose some sort of totalitarian religious regime on it. Of course I'm not. I'm not going to stand on a platform with far left people who want to destroy everything that I believe in, everything I care about. And it's the same with people that are racist and anti-Semitic. Now, when it comes to Jada Franson, I do not believe that Jada Franson is racist or anti-Semitic. I've spoken to her at length about this. I spoke to her for a very, very long time on Saturday. She reiterated stuff that she told me before about things that had happened to her in the movement, in the Patriot movement, and how she'd been treated appallingly by certain individuals. Now, again, I've only got one side of the story on that. I'm not taking sides, but I think that anybody that's hearing the things that have been said about Jada probably needs to chat to Jada. Is she beyond reproach? Absolutely not. None of us are. But again, in the same way, whenever I started in this movement, way back in 2017, the groups that were set up, the veterans groups and the football lads, were very, very wary of being associated with Tommy. I don't know why, because I'd watched Tommy's career personally for, I suppose, 10 years, however long he'd been doing it. At the very, very beginning, I was very, very interested in what the EDL were doing and what they stood for. I never got involved then because it wasn't the right time for me to get involved, but I've been very interested because of my interest in Islam. So I knew about Tommy, and I knew that Tommy was not what the media were portraying him to be. But obviously there were people in the football lads and in the veterans that didn't know Tommy, and they didn't have the same information that I had. So whenever we were doing that back in the beginning in 2017, I was saying to people, listen, you've got to give Tommy, you've got to engage with Tommy. He's very, very important in this movement. He's vital in this movement. And I still hold to that belief that Tommy is key to galvanising support in this country against the Islamization of the UK, which I believe is one of the major threats to the peace and stability and security of the United Kingdom. Not the only threat, because there's others that we've talked about and we'll talk about again. But again, with Jada, I have a similar sort of impression that Jada is, in the same way, when I met Tommy and spoke to Tommy in the beginning, just like the guy, I thought he's he's the real deal. And with Jada, I have the same sort of feeling that she is a genuine person that is trying to change things. Now, if I'm wrong and it turns out that she is racist and is anti-Semitic, I will not associate myself with Jada, and she knows that. I tell everybody that. When it comes to people close to Jada, am I concerned about them? Some of them, yes, very concerned. And I'm not going to say any more than that. But that's up to her. In the same way, I can't tell anybody else in this movement. I can't tell Tommy who to associate with. I can't tell any of the people in Hearts of Oak who to associate with. I can't tell the veterans who to associate with. I can't tell Jada Franson who to associate with. And I'm not going to say any more on that, but I personally wouldn't associate with some of those people. So that's my take on what's happened this weekend. As far as I know, Jada is going to be taking legal action against some of the people that slandered her. I'm not going to be taking legal action against the people that posted things on social media, because those posts were removed, and as far as I'm concerned, that is case closed. That's it. That's that put to bed. But going forward, I am going to be more robust in defending myself in terms of slander, and I'm not going to say any more than that. Again, Jada is, with the legal action that she's taking, is including my name in that legal action, so that people are aware that I have also been libelled and slandered as a result of these protests. And finally, I want to say something actually about the protests. Now, I don't agree with this group, with the information they put on that leaflet, with what they believe about vaccination, etc., etc. But what I do believe, and I said this last week and I'm saying it again, that they have a right to protest, and the police should not be arresting people and dragging people off the streets. The police should be facilitating legal protest with, okay, if everybody has to do social distancing, fine, let there be proper social distancing. But the police should be facilitating legal protest. Because going forward, this lockdown cannot last forever. And if it does, then we are going to have to break the lockdown. And I said it in my last video. I'll say exactly the same thing again. I want to do a demonstration about grooming. And there's other people who want to do one as well. Hearts of Oak have been talking about this. And other groups have been talking about this, about the grooming issue. So I believe there will be a demonstration. I don't know when, but there will be a demonstration on that issue. And if there is, we should attend it if we feel passionately about that. And if we get arrested for going to something that 6 months ago would have been a perfectly legitimate and legal demonstration, then it shows that the country is turning into a police state. I saw people getting dragged away, old men getting dragged away from that demonstration at the weekend for doing nothing. Now that is the sign of a police state. Yes, I know we're in the middle of a pandemic. I know the virus is dangerous. I'm not stupid. I believe there is a virus. And I believe we should do everything we can to stop the spread of that virus, while keeping civil society open. You cannot just close down a country indefinitely. And this is where I believe that the lockdown has been hugely damaging. I heard yesterday of a person that committed suicide because of not being able to see their children. I know of people who have deteriorated greatly while they've been in this lockdown. We've got friends who've died during this lockdown. Would they have got proper hospital treatment if it hadn't been for the lockdown? Were they scared to go to hospital? There's all these questions that have got to be asked. Is it worth completely destroying the economy? My business and many other businesses have gone into complete deep freeze as a result of this. So many people are in a situation where they've very, very little income coming in. So to me, the lockdown, I get why they did it in the first place. I'm not conspiratorial. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they did the lockdown initially to save the NHS. That ship has sailed. There's no reason to protect the NHS now because the capacity is off the chart, off the scale. I believe the lockdown has been kept in place because of people like the panicking Piers Morgan and people of his ilk. So anyway, that's it. I'm not going to say any more about this. Like I say, I had a very good conversation with Jada at the weekend, and I think we covered a lot of ground, which was very, very useful. I think she's right when she calls for unity, but from my point of view, there can't be unity with people who are racist or anti-Semitic. I will never stand with people that hold those views. But people that share the views that I hold dear, and I believe Tommy's like that. I believe that the people at Hearts of Oak are like that, and the veterans are like that, and the football lads are like that. Those views, I will stand with people that share those views all day long. And if Jada shares those views, then there is no reason why she should be ostracised from our movement if she genuinely shares those views. But again, and I've said this in numerous videos in the last few weeks, there are dangerous individuals with dangerous ideas out there who are trying to infiltrate our groups and our movement. And I'm very, very aware of that. And we need to continually oppose them and oppose their ideology, and challenge what they believe, and challenge the direction that they're trying to take our movement and our country in. So that's it. That's my take on everything that's happened. At the end of the day, it just shows that the mainstream media are fake news, and we need our own media and we need our own platforms to tell our story and to tell the truth, because this is what this is about. It's about truth and it's about freedom. I'll see you all soon.